spoiler-free review of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Clocking in at a fast 2 hours and 43 minutes, the seventh film in the Mission Impossible franchise might just be the smartest film of the entire series. And it gets 4 very important things right. The IMF team is chasing a world-changing secret weapon, and they are up against a bunch of people who are all angling to find it first. And they are all looking for the keys to how to control it, including one very special enemy who knows their every move before they make it. You learn quickly that you can't trust anything that you see and that you really have to think outside the box. It's like a shell game played by experts. And the one thing you can trust is that this weapon is a big deal. It simply has to be found, and the stakes have never been higher. So the team decides to get to it first and to eliminate it from the equation for everyone. So let's get to what the film does right, because these are 4 really important things. First, Ethan Hunt and the IMF team are joined by Grace, a talented thief played by Hayley Atwell, who adds an unexpected spark to the film. The dynamic between Grace and Ethan is terrific. Adding a new player to an existing team, it's a bold choice, but this is Mission Impossible, and they know how to pull off a bold choice. The addition of Hayley Atwell to the cast was a smart move, since she adds a natural lightness to her scenes that allow for these small moments of effortless humor that really work and add a refreshing energy to the film. The fact that she can't drive well created some hilarious moments, and the shorthand body language between Hayley and Tom was so easy to pick up. You didn't need dialogue to understand what they were thinking and what they were feeling. The second thing they get right is the tech. Now, this is a big deal to me. So if you know me at all, you know I'm all about technology. And I have to say right up front, not all of the technology in this film is possible at this point, but it feels believable in the way that it's portrayed within the story. And I think that's the key to its success. It's clear that the director, Christopher McQuarrie, and the writers did their homework on how augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and machine learning work. They do bend reality just a bit with the tech, but they do it in a way that is plausible and ordinary feeling. They tap into the social zeitgeist when it comes to this technology, and they make it look like it works the way that people imagine it to work. And that is why that really comes together in the film. Third, the layered storytelling is smartly done. Yeah, the jaw-dropping action, the amazing settings and locations, and the cast, they're all great, no doubt. But without a good story, it would all fall flat. None of these things would matter without a good storytelling. And Dead Reckoning has multiple interconnected storylines that play out simultaneously. From the first scene to the last, they also sprinkle clues and plot points throughout the film, many of which pay off at different points in the movie, and many of which seem to be held in reserve for Dead Reckoning Part 2. This is where the richness of the story lives, because you simply can't stop yourself from trying to puzzle out what the story is, where it's going, and what's going to happen next. I think we're going to see a lot of predictions for Part 2, and I honestly cannot think of a better way to build buzz for the sequel. And the fourth thing that they get right, the well-timed surprises, most of which make sense within the story world of Mission Impossible, where the idea of what is actually possible is a little more subjective than in the real world. Even if you're thinking something must be happening soon, and then it does, these surprising sleight of hand moments or well-timed entries or exits all make sense within the scope of the story. They never quite fall back on Deus ex machina to resolve an otherwise unresolvable issue. And sometimes the story plays out differently than you might expect, but it still makes sense and it's still believable because they really do follow the storyline. They follow their own breadcrumbs through to the end of the scene or the segment that they're filming. So it all makes sense. So the stakes are so high that everyone has to think differently in this film. And so the film really does a great job of defying expectations, but in a completely logical and natural way for all of these characters. There is so much more that I can say, but I think I'll leave that for my spoiler review because boy, do I want to talk about these spoilers. There's so much good stuff to talk about here. And I'm really trying to not get into that because I don't want to spoil the movie for you. One thing that I want to make sure to mention is the use of music and sound. It really adds to the heart-pounding feel of the film. There's something just classic and core to those few notes in the Mission Impossible theme. And no, I'm not going to sing that in this review because nobody wants to hear that, at least not from me. And those notes are really threaded throughout the film in ways that kind of heighten and release tension. The sound design is just expertly done. Total kudos on that. That paired with the cinematography create a stunning combination from the long shots to the close-ups. There is a level of attention spent on the camera angles and the lighting that just showcases this film. And final thought here, whatever you might think about Tom Cruise, he is a brilliant actor. He has a connection with the camera that just kind of pulls the audience into the movie, making that world feel present, real, and immediate. It's one of the reasons that we feel the tension in his scenes, whether there is action or not. There is this one scene in particular when he's trying to convince Grace to kind of jump. It's a really tense situation, and I'm avoiding spoilers here, but it's the look on his face, the tone of his voice, and kind of the tremble in his hand that makes you feel what Ethan Hunt is feeling. It's as if he's not sure he can convince her to trust him. Or, I don't know, maybe he's trying to convince himself that she can trust him. Either way, it really feels authentic in the moment. You can't help but wonder, will he actually be able to catch her? And the way it's filmed, you get the sense from both characters that that is an active question. Like, will he actually be able to do this? This is just one little moment that highlights the power of his performance. And it's scenes like this that are threaded throughout the film, turning it into a heart-pounding experience. Tom Cruise is easily one of the best actors of his generation. In short, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 is possibly the smartest and most exciting film in years. I love action movies and I love intelligent movies. With Dead Reckoning, you get both. If you only see one movie in the theater this summer, this is the one you should go see. If you like this review, please do give me a thumbs up and be sure to hit subscribe for more videos. Thanks so much, everybody. And in the words of Roger Ebert, one of my childhood heroes, I'll see you at the movies. Bye, everybody.